Hello, it's Richard Bowser here, Property Investor News at the Property Investor Show, and I've come across a very familiar face who's also been a fellow exhibitor at the Property Investor Show for over 20 years, and of course it's David Sandeman from EIG. Good afternoon, David.
Hello, Richard. Hello.
Yes.
Good to see you.
David, so yeah, we've been exhibiting together here at this show over 20 years. This is the Friday when we're talking here, and it's a very busy Friday, isn't it?
Yes, much busier than last year. Yeah, seems to be.
So the appetite for property and property investment seems to be not dying, but actually, if anything, increasing.
Yeah, certainly the volumes we're seeing coming through the auction world have gone up 20% year on year. Two is A, the appetite, but B, people have moved away from structured auctions in a room. Now with COVID, it became all online, and it's made auctions very much more accessible to the general public. It's all on your screen. And we've also seen auctioneers, rather than be tied by a calendar, auctioneers used to have a set dates, range sometimes 4 years in advance for 7 or 8 auctions a year. Now they may be doing 15 auctions a year. So you're never more than 2 weeks away from the next auction for some auction houses.
And is this a national trend, or is it specifically regional, where, in terms of the growth, is there, obviously we're based down in London, and historically the big London auction houses had strong presence in the market. Is there a change there or not?
Yes, very much so. What I would say is that now that it's all online, it's so easy to hold an auction because you don't need a venue, you don't need a catalogue, and you don't need an auctioneer. You just need a computer, and we luckily provide that for a lot of the auctioneers. And so people are springing up all over the place, starting to run their own auctions. The barriers to entry have completely gone, or almost all gone.
And just for people who are, obviously there are TV programs, one in particular we know very well, or know about, and many viewers will be well aware, Homes Under the Hammer. But in terms of what people need to be thinking about if they're seriously considering buying at auction, what are the main things they need to consider?
Right, 2 things. Firstly, understand what the guide price is. It is not what the auctioneer expects to sell it for. It is only an indication where the reserve is set. The reserve, ASA ruled on this, the reserve cannot be more than 10% above a guide price, but, and here's the but, it is subject to change. So we're seeing a lot of stock coming in, which say might be worth 100 grand. It goes on the portals with a guide price of say 20 grand, and the night before the auction, the reserve, because it can do, will go up to 90. So people are doing a due diligence on stock, thinking they're going to buy it for 2025. What they need to do is to see what similar things are selling for in auction, and our site will give them that information and be aware of it. The other thing is to read the legal pack or get it read. I did some research on an auction the other day, across some auctions, we managed the bidding, and 34% of the buyers hadn't downloaded a single legal document. Unbelievable. In the legal pack could be snakes. Special conditions of sale, most extreme I've seen is a plot of land sold for £100. The extra charges in the legal document in specials amounted to £16,000, and the buyer hadn't read them. Very uncomfortable evening he would have had. So that's really what it is. And remember, the most important document in the legal pack is the one which isn't there. It's been left out because it contains bad news. An example would be, if you're buying a flat, you would expect a flat to have management accounts for the last 3 years.
Yes.
If that's not there, ask the question why. Maybe there's none there, or it's a horrific arrears or something. Common sense. Do not be driven by your heart, be driven by your head.
Common sense. Unfortunately, it's not as common as we might assume. And your observation there about legal packs at auction, I can recall so many times some of the big London auctions that we were at. In the morning, people would flood through the doors, and the first question would be, okay, how do I bid, and where's the legal pack? And you think, well, hang on a minute, you're just about to go in, you're obviously relatively serious about buying, and you haven't even looked at the legal pack, and you haven't even put it in front of your legal representative. So the madness of crowds is how I always described it.
I can't believe that, a third of bidders, a third of buyers haven't downloaded a single document. I coined the phrase, if I may give it to you, people are treating the auction catalogue like the Argos catalogue. They think it's click and collect, and if you don't like it, you phone your credit card company, you get your money back. No, not in property auctions.
No. Once the hammer falls, you're committed.
Indeed, you're under contract, and the penalties for breaching that contract can be very, very severe and painful.
Well, there we are. Take note of those observations from someone who has attended many auctions, and of course, he is the head of the Essential Information Group, EIG. David Sandeman, thank you for your time today.
Pleasure, Richard. See you
Thank
soon.
you.